education series. I'm Kara, as Claire had said, the education support coordinator with the Halifax area. Before we jump into today's session, I just wanted to remind everybody to feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation in the private confidential chat box, and it's addressed to the Alzheimer's Society of Nova Scotia host. If you don't see it, just use your mouse to hover over the bottom of your screen and you'll see the little chat button. So just make sure that you ask the question there, put a comment in there, but remember to press enter so that it comes back to us. Questions will only be seen by the ASNS host, and we'll get to those at the end of the presentation. So our audience today includes people living with dementia, care partners, family members, and people who would like to learn more about dementia. And a reminder, as Claire had said, that our session is being recorded, so your microphones and your cameras are turned off so that your faces and your voices will not be part of the recording. Today's session is going to be Why Walk Together Outdoors. It's Nova Scotia. It's actually, we're going to have an overview of the Nova Scotia Walk program. Before I get into introducing you to our presenter today, just want to let you know that the presentation will be about 30 minutes, and then we will follow it up by a Q&A session. And so, of course, I have the privilege of introducing you today to Catherine Droesbeck. And Catherine is actually going to be exploring in her presentation the many benefits of walking, particularly group walking. So walking outdoors together with a group of individuals, and giving an overview of the Nova Scotia Walks program. And so Catherine Droesbeck is the project coordinator with Hike Nova Scotia, and she has been a physical activity practitioner in one form or another since graduating from Dalhousie with a degree in health education in 1988. Over the years, Catherine has worked in public health, not-for-profit, and government sectors within Ottawa, Moncton, and then, of course, here in Halifax. She's worked with policymakers, decision makers, researchers, practitioners, and communities, and she's been working to create equitable opportunities to support people and enjoy the benefits of physical activity. So I'm going to hand it over to Catherine. Welcome.
Thanks, Kara. Thank you very much, and thanks, Claire, as well. I'm delighted to be with you all today. I wish I could see you. I'm still getting used to this kind of odd technology, but anyway, hope you're all doing well. So yeah, as Kara mentioned, we're going to be presenting for about 25, 30 minutes or so on different topics related to walking, and then we'll have a chance to address some of your questions. So we'll jump right in. So the purpose of the talk today, so we're going to be talking about the benefits of, first of all, walking and physical activity, and then get into and as well being put together a program that I'll call NF Walks. So I feel like with the weather outside, my job should be pretty darn easy today. So definitely not difficult to encourage to be part of Mother Nature in this weather. So hopefully that helps. And so we hope this can be beneficial to yourself, whether you're a practitioner or a family member or someone with dementia. We hope it's useful information. So walking in general. Well, Hippocrates, a long time ago, more than 2,000 years ago, he knew walking was a good thing. You probably know of the quote that said, "Walking is man's best medicine." If you think about it, that's a pretty strong word, pretty strong statement. So even like more than 2,000 years ago, it was recognized that walking has tremendous benefits for people. So the question is, my slides jumped ahead here. Hold on a second.
Catherine, your sound is breaking up a little.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll just keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I just noticed it looks like my Wi-Fi is a bit spotty. I don't know why, but we'll keep on going. So is my sound okay, even if yeah,
it is for the most part. Maybe if you turn your
Yeah.
camera off, your sound will be better, or we
Oh.
could try Cara sharing her screen.
Yeah, hold on one second. Well, we'll keep on going. Sometimes it just comes in and out, but we'll keep forging ahead and hope for the best.
Sounds good.
So okay. So yeah, so what happened? Even though we knew that walking was a really good idea, all those thousands of years ago. So for the most part, one of our challenges is our life has now become indoors for the most part, especially in this part of the world. That in and of itself means that we're going to be moving less. So that's one of our challenges. We've used the expression, if you've heard, we've engineered physical activity out of our lives. Here's a wonderful, nothing against. Created so many features just make it easier for us to go through our daily lives, whether it's cars or remote controls or washing machines and all these kinds of things, mostly in the last couple of generations. So what that has done, that has enabled us as a human who needs to move more, to move a whole lot less every day. So that's been part of our challenge. So as a result of this, we need to make an effort to move every day and to be outside, because both of those have been sort of taken away from many of us. But as I said, at the bottom there, it's definitely worth it. So how do we go about doing that? So just to start with some general benefits of physical activity, and there's more research all the time done to the tremendous benefits for our physical, social, mental health. So we'll just name a few here. This is really important. Most people are aware that because physical activity helps prevent osteoporosis by decreasing the rate of bone loss that goes along with it. Very, very important. Balance, strength, flexibility, coordination, also absolutely key, again, to be able to do our daily activities every day and stay healthy. I know you've had someone on here specifically talking about falls risk, because that is an absolutely essential part of maintaining not only good health and independence as we grow older. And decreasing the risk of over 25 chronic illnesses. So all of the major illnesses that are unfortunately very prevalent here in North America, from diabetes to arthritis and heart disease, etc. All of those have been proven you can decrease your risk by being more physically active. Sorry, it's a little bit messed up. The slides look a little odd, but anyway, we'll still go with it. And this one, when I first saw this, is kind of surprising, but if you think about it, it makes sense. They estimate that about half of the functional decline between ages of 30 and 70 is due to physical inactivity. So I know we tend to blame just getting older on a lot of our aches and pains and ailments and things that aren't working as well. It's the old adage of if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. So that is totally true. And if you think about it, it does make sense, because we all know a lot of older adults who are very healthy and active. And so it's obviously not only age alone that help in more stuff. So moving on. Maybe. And some more benefits, because there are so many. An overall increase in energy. We need that to go through our daily lives and enjoy life as well, enjoy our leisure time. It helps to have energy. Decreasing stress, and in this day and age, especially with the pandemic, we all could definitely use a way to be less stressed and be more relaxed, and just overall increase in strength. It's been proven that just being physically active helps decrease our feelings of worry and depression. And there's some really exciting research around people who even have clinical depression and the benefits of physical activity. I threw this one in there because I know this group in particular is interested in dementia and Alzheimer's, and they say the part of the brain, and you probably know this better than I, the hippocampus, a part of the brain that is responsible for reasoning and memory. There is some evidence now that physical activity even helps prevent the wasting of an hippocampus. So that's kind of exciting research too. And then of course, fun and relaxation and socializing, which is again, probably all something that we haven't had too much in the last year. So we definitely could add more on there. Okay, and yeah, when I again looked at what is known as some of the main risk factors of Alzheimer's, and I kind of cross-referenced them a bit with the benefits of physical activity, there's 4 in particular risk factors that of Alzheimer's that can be lowered by physical activity. And that includes, of course, those chronic illnesses that are associated with vascular injury, in other words, heart disease, stroke, etc., diabetes. So again, we know that the more active, less risk. Decrease in stress, sorry, we mentioned that already, but it was worth mentioning again. Better sleep, so we activity to a better and that's so to good health to begin with, and just an overall less sedentary lifestyle is associated with less risk as well. So yeah, and we talked early on about being outside. So I have an easy job when the weather's like this to say, get outside. It's a little more challenging sometimes in January, but there are tremendous benefits to just being outside and being active outside. And here's just a few of the oh, you're only seeing 4 now. But improved immune system. So again, our ability to ward off disease and ailments and even colds and flu are improved when we're outside. Boosted mood. So, you know, again, it just, it helps to kind of put us in a better mood and lighten things there. Keep coming back to stress. So again, if we can lower our stress levels physically and mentally, then we feel better, our family members feel better. It's just a happier time all around. And our daily dose of vitamin C. So again, we can pop vitamin C, but there's nothing like really the sun to help with the vitamin D. And I realize you can't see number 4 here, so I'm gonna, or number 5. So I'll tell you what that is. It is increased energy. So again, we talked about that. So our ability to be able to have the energy to not only do the things you need to do, some left over so we can actually enjoy our leisure time.
Catherine, sorry to interrupt again. You're still kind of coming in and out. Do you want to try it with your camera off and just see if it improves the sound quality and the...
Okay, so sure. I'll just stop sharing from it because I think I just have to stop sharing in order to turn my camera off. There. And then I'll share again. Alrighty, let's try that. So you can see the slides again.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, good, okay, great. Alrighty, so now we're going to talk a little bit more about walking specifically, and first of all, kind of why walking? What's the big deal about walking? And just to say, you know, we know from research that walking actually is the most popular physical activity for people. And I think there's lots of reasons for that. And these are probably a few of them. First of all, walking is affordable. Like you don't need any extra equipment or anything. You don't have to pay to go walking. It's very doable from that standpoint. Accessible. What we mean by accessible in this sense is just it's available no matter kind of where you live. It's convenient, etc. Safe. So when we say safe, and what I'm talking about here is really low risk of injury compared to some other physical activities. Walking is pretty safe in terms of injury, preventing injuries and so forth compared to some other vigorous physical activity. Not that there's anything wrong with other types of physical activity, but this one is safe if you're particularly concerned about fall safety, etc. Outside. So, you know, the chance to just be outside, and we just talked about all the benefits of being outside is marvelous. And of course, walking is practical convenience. So what I mean by that is walking is one of those activities that you can do stuff, get stuff done during your day, whether it's maybe walk to the post office when things are open, walk to the grocery store, the post office. So it's convenient. So you can kind of double up. You're getting outside and you're being active, but you're also getting stuff done. And why group walking in particular? Well, it's sociable. And, you know, for a long time as a physical activity practitioner, we just kind of emphasize the physical benefits, like how good physical activity and walking was for your body. But we're really realizing that those social benefits of being around other people and getting a chance to chat and laugh and so forth, that is almost as important, or probably just as important, as the benefits for our body too. So the bonus of walking, as opposed to maybe doing some other activities with people, is that you can actually be sociable. And again, we mentioned accessible, and there are just to add on that even people with different mobility levels can join in a walk or a roll or something. Whether someone uses a walking aid, a mobility aid, they can still do a walk. Walking, group walking, in terms of safety, there are different reasons why people might not want to walk alone. If they live in a city and they may be a little timid about walking by themselves. If you live in the country, some of you do, there may be some fear of things like coyotes. So again, group walking takes away that risk, so you're with other people. And one that's definitely important to mention is accountability. And that is meaning once you go from, well, I might go for a walk today, to saying, I've said to my spouse, or I've said to my neighbor, we are going for a walk today, or would you like to go? All of a sudden, it's going to most likely happen, because you've now said this out loud to someone else and you've made a promise. And our research kind of shows that sometimes we wouldn't necessarily do stuff for ourselves, but we're going to do something for somebody else. So there's that accountability factor. So what do you need to go for a walk? Not much, and most of you know this. Really, the most probably important thing is a good pair of supportive shoes, or running or walking shoes. So just something with a good cushioning is probably the most important thing. And then, of course, always kind of having water to drink, no matter what the weather. And then, fortunately, we now are starting to talk about, well, you need a hat and sunscreen. Before we started today, we also talked about, in some cases, bug spray. So especially until we get through the mosquito and black fly season. And then just dressing for whatever weather. And again, you know, beautiful thing about Nova Scotia, if you don't like the weather, just wait a few minutes. So, you know, having options and layers and so forth will help make sure your walk is comfortable no matter what the weather. And just some tips about kind of making sure it does happen, you know, that your walk happens. Because people are busy and they have different priorities, but booking it in your calendar, just like you would book any appointment, will help to make it happen. Make sure that you get out on your walk, and getting it booked in on a regular basis. I already mentioned the benefit of including a family or friend member, or a couple of people. And that way, again, it will, you know, people count on each other to make sure that the walk happens. And again, prioritizing your walk. Again, people do have a lot of responsibilities in their lives, but you know, trying to think, I need to do this for myself, for my physical health, mental health, and then you'll be better for someone else as well, getting all those benefits. And of course, being kind to ourselves. So again, just thinking, you know, in terms of starting a new habit, you know, if you were going to do one thing for you or your family's health, how about this? How about getting on a few, you know, walking more? So now I'm gonna have a few slides to introduce you to our NS Walks program, which I hope helps maybe give you some ideas about how you might start walking more, and perhaps in a group. So we started NS Walks just this past year, and our goal is to create the social supports to increase opportunities for people who are less active to enjoy the benefits of walking. So, and again, when we say walking, we include all ability methods there. So again, it's that social support. So people who want to walk more, who want to walk with other people. A shout out to our partners who are absolutely essential to helping us fund NS Walk. So we're funded through 2 provincial grants, Department of Communities, Culture, Heritage, and Department of Seniors. And we have our communications partner from the Healthy Tomorrow Foundation through the Make Your Move campaign. And as well, a shout out to our wonderful advisory committee who help us develop this program, keeping in mind, so we understood our target audience better. And this is how I met Kara, yay! And since Kara is on our advisory committee. And you can see the other organizations on there, again, who have been invaluable in helping us create an initiative, which we hope is going to help a lot more people enjoy the benefits of walking. So that's who's involved. Again, it's a provincial initiative. So what we do, there's a few different kind of parts to the program. One is walk leader recruitment, training and ongoing support. So we train volunteer walk leaders to lead these walks around in communities around the province. Stakeholder awareness and capacity to support walking for the target group. And what we mean by that is, you know, we know that there's a lot of organizations who know that their clients would benefit from them walking more. And so we hope to be able to fill that bill, I guess, is to get more people walking, and including those who may have a physical or mental health challenge. And connecting Nova Scotians to walking groups in their community. So that's the idea, that you could find out where you can join a walking group in your community. Yeah. All right, so a little bit about the group walks themselves. So we're just getting rolling. We had our first leader training session the end of March. And then early in April, we kind of went through the lockdown. So we haven't been able to have our actual walking groups going, but we do have leaders trained throughout the province, and they will be ready to go when we're given the go ahead. A big part of these walks is that we train our leaders to make sure that they're very welcoming to all people who come out to the walk. So again, we're thinking of people who maybe have been less active and can't walk very fast, and that's okay. This is about the social benefits of walking as much as the physical. So in terms of group size, the group size might vary a little bit, again, depending on smaller communities or bigger communities, or the time of day. The walks will take place at different times of day, depending on when the walk leaders schedule them. And they'll usually be weekly. So again, we know that from a behavioral standpoint, if you can kind of count on there being a regular walk every day, every week, that will help you kind of prepare and say, oh, no, Thursday mornings, that's my walk. So you really try to keep it in your schedule if possible. And yeah, so if you'd like more information about NS Walks, you can go to the website, nswalks.ca, which is part of our Hike Nova Scotia website. and it will give you some information about the program, about the leader training program. And also, if you decide to register, you can actually register to join, to sign up. And when there becomes a leader in your area, you get connected with a leader and find out more about the walks that they offer. So, and it's important to know too, if you think this might be something that interests you, the routes are pre-planned. So the leaders, again, are encouraged to pick a route that is, accessible and easy to get to. So it's meant to be as barrier-free as possible and risk-free as possible. And of course, it's free of charge. There's no charge to be part of a walking group, which is great. And our goal is to add some fun to people as well, for people. So that's all I had for this part. And that's my contact information right there. And yeah, I hope the technical difficulties weren't too distracting. I'll leave that on for a second, but then I'll stop sharing, and then Kara and Claire can see if there's some questions, and we can address those. So thank you.
Yeah, sounds great. That's awesome, Catherine. Yeah, if you wanted to just stop sharing your screen, and then you can come on back in, and we can do we did get some questions.
Great.
Through the chat, and I'll just wait for you to put your video back on again, so I'm not. There we go. I'm not alone anymore. There you go, Catherine. That was wonderful. And as you said, Nova Scotia Walks, it's an excellent opportunity. Exercise, you labeled and you listed all of the benefits, and we know the benefits of getting out and walking, but sometimes there's a barrier to getting out and walking, because if you live in the country and if you walk by yourself, you may be afraid of, maybe it's bears, maybe it's coyotes, like those lovely critters that we see in nature. So this gives the opportunity for a person to connect with a group of people and make new friendships as well, which is a possibility. So love the entire premise of Nova Scotia Walks. I think it's really important for us, especially this year. It's been a difficult year in connecting, and I know that's one of the questions. Actually, maybe we can start with that. When do you expect Nova Scotia Walks to start with the walks again? I know there's a bit of a restriction, and you might not have the answer for that yet.
Yeah, we are waiting to hear. We anticipate we'll be able to have a certain number of people walking outdoors together. It might be 10. We anticipate it will be within a couple of weeks. I really hope, if things keep going in the right direction. I meant to talk to our executive director, Janet, to see if she has had any specific conversations with public health, but I would hope by the middle of the month, when they're saying that people can kind of gather outdoors, then we'll be close. Yeah.
Something to look forward to for sure.
Yeah.
And these groups, I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it again. These groups are accessible, so they're throughout the province. So if somebody was in Digby, for instance, they could go. If they were in, say, Amherst or Pictou or wherever it might be, they can go to a walk.
Yeah. So we're slowly getting leader. We have I don't know if I said the number of leaders. We have 130 leaders trained in the province now, which sounds like a lot.
Awesome.
We think there's a lot of communities. Yeah, but we do have. So currently we have walks set up in Spring Hill and Dominion and Kentville, Wolfville, and Halifax, Sackville, etc. I know I'm going to forget a bunch, but we have about 17 different communities covered right now. Nice. And again, I think that'll pick up. We do have another leader training booked in a couple weeks, so we'll get a few more leaders on the go too. So.
And so just thinking about the walk itself, Catherine, what can people expect for sort of like the duration of the walk? As far as the, how complex will the walk be? Is it like, are you going to be going up different elevations, that sort of thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. And this is where we wanted to make sure that people who are currently less active feel comfortable coming out to the walk and know that it's going to be a pretty easy walk. So right. Our leaders are trained in that to just make the walk more about a stroll. They could have a bunch of people that come out and they're they're all kind of faster walkers, but we really want to put the emphasis on those people who maybe haven't been out in a while and aren't very fast walkers, and just like, that's okay. They're the ones that set the pace, not the faster walkers. That's a really important message that we transfer to our leaders.
Excellent. And that's great. Yeah. So that people don't feel the pressure that they have to keep up if there's somebody that's walking. So you adapt to whoever the person is that may not walk as fast. So it's, excellent.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And then I know one of the questions, how do I find out about a walk that's going on around me? That would be through your website.
Yeah, so right now, and eventually we'll use kind of a different method, but for now, if you go to nswalks.ca, there's one choice there that says, I want to join a walking group. And you click on that, and it's like a Google form. It's pretty user friendly. You put your name and address and your community. And then we're starting to do the matching. So we have, say, a leader in Kentville, and if you say you live in Kentville, then we will pass on your contact information to that leader, and they will contact you when they get going. At some point in the future, we'll use another resource, I guess, if you've heard of NS connect.ca. And that's a great database of kind of everything to do with leisure and recreation and in communities. So people will be able to say, I am in Digby and I want to join a walking group, and it'll take a step for you. But for now, that's how we are doing it.
And so people might be familiar with Rec Connect when they've maybe registered their kids for different programs, or for themselves, like for snowshoeing or those sorts of things. So it's Rec Connect. That's sort of.
Oh yeah, it's actually NS Connect.
NS Connect. Okay.
Believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a provincial database initiative, and nsconnect.ca. HRM's a little different. HRM doesn't have NS Connect. They have their own website. So our work is a little bit done a little differently here. But yeah, if you call your local rec department, they might be aware of it. But if not, start with us anyway.
NS Connect. Perfect. And then, so I got a few questions here in the chat. So yeah, does the group always stay together, or could faster walkers go ahead and another slower group stay together? I think I know the answer to that.
Yeah, there's fun things that groups of people can do. If there's some speedy ones, we let them go ahead, do an extra loop, do something, but they can stay together. But the whole idea is that no one gets left behind. And ideally, in all our walks, we have two leaders. We have a front leader and a back leader, and maybe even more. And so we make sure no one gets left behind, and likewise, we hopefully make sure that no one takes off and doesn't come back. So
great to have the leader at the front end and then the back end, so that you have, it's nice to know that there's two volunteers.
Yeah, at least two. Wonderful. Yeah, and ideally, and I'll just mention this because I don't think I did, is our program is actually modeled after one from Scotland, a very successful national program that's been around for a couple decades now, and they've pretty much got the process down pretty good. And that's kind of one of the things that they follow, is to have like at least two leaders per group for safety and fun and responsibility and so forth. Yeah.
Excellent. And so on that note as well, I had a person that said that they have early stage dementia and they're wondering if they can participate in the walking group.
Yes. Again, everybody's welcome, certainly. Just complete the process, and your leader would get in touch with you beforehand, and we'll let you know again about the walk, and you can decide if it's a walk,
if it's a good fit for you.
Of a good fit, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's great so that there is a process so that you can connect with somebody, ask some questions, get some answers from there. I have somebody's wondering if 211, if they have info to refer people to Nova Scotia Walk. So does 211 actually have the info? Good.
I don't think they do yet, but they will. We definitely want to be able to have that. And we've had early discussions with them before we kind of got rolling. But yeah, thank you for the reminder. I mean to get back with them for sure. It's a great idea. Yeah.
Is there a leader in Guysborough County or a training session coming up in that area?
Right now, all our training sessions are kind of right here. They're virtual training sessions. So the beauty of that is people from all over the province can gather. And to answer your question about Guysborough County, I believe there are a couple people so far trained. I don't know exactly. I'm trying to think of where they are specifically. But yeah, and I know Port Hawkesbury as well is covered. But yeah, again, we find out when we'd let you know once you put in your community if there's a leader or walk happening. And likewise, if you know anyone that you think could become a walk leader that might want to know about it, that you can always share this with them too, to sign up for a leader training. Yeah.
And somebody has asked about the cost. I think you said at the back end of the presentation that it's free. It's free and it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we also have a few dog walkers that in the group, so they're wondering if they can bring their dog.
Well, I'm glad you asked the question, and it always comes up. We feel that, and for the safety of all the participants, it's best if unless you have a service dog, we ask that people leave their dogs at home. It can be pretty tricky, as you know, even with the most well-behaved dogs, it can get a little tricky if someone gets caught in a leash. Especially people who perhaps, have been less active and are kind of afraid of falling and so forth. So we want the dog walkers to keep doing their thing and go for walks. But this one is just a service dog or.
Yeah, but that's an important factor to note too, though, that with the leash, it's so easy for a dog to get excited and might wrap around somebody's legs, which could be a fall hazard, right? So
it's happened to a few, but yeah.
Yeah, myself personally.
It's happened to, right? Yeah.
And again, so the walks occur, how often do they occur?
It's up to the leaders how they want to schedule their walks, but we've highly recommended that they offer at least weekly. So it's same time, same place, same day of the week. Yeah.
And then, as you said, I think one of the key aspects of Nova Scotia walks too is there's the social aspect. It's safe. It's you're with other people. And the other part is accountability. A lot of us might have a problem with the motivation to get out. So, and it's the accountability to know, oh, well, so-and-so is going, I guess maybe I should go. It's being able to connect with other people who motivate you and inspire you. It's like that buddy, that helps you to maintain the desire to get out and get that exercise. Mm-hmm. And then putting it on the calendar. So writing it in your calendar.
Exactly, yeah.
To make sure that you follow up with it. I really like that. So making it actually part of your routine, part of your plan on an ongoing basis.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right.
It's always nice to know that, if you don't show up once you've joined a group, and if maybe you don't show up, someone might be calling you and saying, hey, Joe, where were you today?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's part of it, knowing that you have that support network so that if you don't go 1 week, then there's somebody that's checking in too, which is always nice to know that somebody's looking out for you and would like you to participate, right, in the walk program. Yeah. And as you said, just the benefits, getting out in nature. So you're going for a walk, it's the exercise, and we know the benefits: reduces stress, helps us sleep better. But getting out in nature too, it's that vitamin D, the sun, our weather, it's the spring. As you said, though, in Nova Scotia, wait a minute, the weather will change. So true. So true.
Yeah.
Well, this is fantastic. Thanks so much, Catherine, for coming in and talking about the NS Walks program. It's going to be really, I really see this taking off, especially in the summer months and in the fall too, with all the foliage and the leaves.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. And I will mention too, ideally the groups are, the walks happen outdoors, but we're also, as we get past all this gorgeous weather, and there might be indoor options for some of the groups once winter hits, and particularly some really bad, the freezing rain kind of thing.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, just for safety.
And so there might be some indoor options as well we can look at.
So we'll keep an eye open for those opportunities.
Yeah. We're leaving some time for people to maybe get inspired and be able
get out this afternoon, maybe, possibly.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Catherine. And
my pleasure.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. We're actually, I think Claire's actually going to just put up a quick poll question there. And for those of you, if you have any other questions or if you have any comments or suggestions about future topics, please feel free to give us a call at the Alzheimer, through the Alzheimer info line, 1-800-611-6345. And if you'd like a confidential call to talk about your unique situation or to find out more about our programs, please give us a call on the info line. So thanks again. We hope you enjoy the rest of this gorgeous afternoon and have a lovely weekend. We'll see you next time in Alzed. Take care, everyone.